For any kind of farming, especially livestock farming, feeding plays a very important role in your production cost. How you feed your rabbit will determine so much on the overall growth and the health of your rabbit. So feeding is a very important aspect in a rabbit production. We've done so many videos as far as rabbit feeding is concerned, and I thought it's good for us to extensively understand this section of rabbit production, so that you understand on how you can make your rabbit to grow well. Remember, feeding plays a very big role in production cost of your rabbit. Like over 65% of your production cost goes for feeding. So it's important for you as a farmer to understand different ways of which you can feed your rabbit. In this video, I'd like us to understand the various factors that influence the quantity and the quality of the feeds that you give your rabbit. Hello, my name is Emmanuel and welcome to our channel. Feel free to subscribe to our channel if you haven't subscribed, and also like our videos, share our videos, and comment to our videos. Hello, my name is Emmanuel and welcome to our channel once again. So in this video, as I said in our introductory part, we'll be covering various factors that influence the quantity and the quality that you give to your rabbit. How you feed your rabbit is determined by various factors that you need to understand as a farmer. Remember, we've said that feeding plays a very big role in rabbit production, so you need to understand the different quantities that you can give to your rabbit, and at which stage you should give your rabbit to the different quantities. Especially, we'll be looking at maybe when you're giving it pellets, and like hay you need to give it at a maximum, as in you need to give it each and every time that a rabbit needs it. But for pellets, you need to know which quantity that you need to give your rabbit at which stage. So there are different quantities that you need to understand. So there are different factors that you need to understand in terms of quantities and qualities of feeds that you give to your rabbit. So the first factor that you need to understand is age. How old is your rabbit, and how much do you need to give your rabbit? You need to understand this factor very well. Like for young rabbits, you can't give it a lot of feeds compared to the mature rabbit, which requires a lot of feed. So age is a very important factor. For example, when you're giving your rabbit pellets, you need to understand their age. Like when giving your rabbit a lot of pellets, especially the young ones, you will end up getting these conditions like bloating, which will affect your rabbit so much. So in terms of quantity, for the young ones, you need to give it less than 50 grams of pellets, depending on their age. But for mature, you need to give it between 80 to 100 grams of pellets for a mature one. So you need to look at this aspect very well. So the young one will not take a lot of pellets because they are still growing. So it's an aspect that you need to understand in rabbit production. So remember here we are looking at pellets, how you give the amount of pellets, and also how you give the amount maybe of grains. I remember I've told you for hay, you can give it at a maximum, because the hay doesn't have any effect as far as maybe things to do with the bloating is concerned. Remember, hay also plays a very good role in aspect of bloating, in that it washes your rabbit intestine. So it's good for you to understand this aspect. The other one is the pregnancy or lactating mothers. For pregnant mothers, you need to give it, you need to add to increase the quantity of feeds that you give it. Remember, it's pregnant and it requires some energy or some foods to feed the young ones which are in stomach. So you need to increase the feeds that you give your rabbit to a pregnant mother. Like for a case of pellets, you need to give it around 120 grams of pellets. Remember, you have between 100 to 120 grams of pellets. Remember, I've been giving it between 80 to 100 grams of pellets. So you need to increase the amount of pellets that you give to a pregnant doe or a pregnant mother in that matter. Remember, doe is a female rabbit. So, and for lactating one, you also immediately it has given birth, you also need to increase the amount of pellets that you give it in a way that you need to give it around between 150, between 120 to 150, depending on the stage at which it is. So it's very, very important for you to understand this aspect of feeding your rabbit. So for a pregnant one, you are giving it a lot of feeds or a lot of pellets for it to generate a lot of milk. Remember, the young ones needs a lot of milk, and you need to give it a lot of pellets for it to generate. Remember, pellets contain a lot of proteins, and the proteins, when you're giving it a lot of proteins, you can be able to generate a lot of energy. So it's a very important aspect in rabbit production. The other factor that you need to consider is the growth of your rabbit. Growth goes hand in hand with the age. Remember, for growing rabbits, you need to give it a lot of pellets because they are growing. You are targeting on the growth. Remember, when you are doing it for meat production, you are targeting on growth. So you need to increase a lot of pellet. As they grow, you increase a lot of pellet for you to maximize on the growth factor that you are targeting as a farmer. So it's important for you as a farmer to understand this aspect. So you can start increasing as from 50% to 100% as your rabbit increases in terms of weight, as a rabbit grow in terms of age. So growth is an aspect that you need to consider. Maybe when you're doing it, maybe not for commercial, you are not targeting growth, you might maybe reduce the amount of pellet that you give it. So growth is an aspect that you need to consider as a farmer. For you to attain this growth, you need to increase the quantity and the quality. Remember, quality also plays a very good role in a rabbit production, especially when you are doing it commercially. You need to identify a good company that has the proper ingredients as far as pellet making is concerned. So it's good for you to understand this aspect when targeting growth. So in each and everything, remember, growth plays a very important role in rabbit production. Remember, when you are giving your rabbit good quality pellets, you will increase production, you will increase productivity in your rabbit. So feeds are very, very important aspect in rabbit production. The first important of feeds you need to understand is that they play a very big role in your biological and physical functioning of your rabbit. But here I mean that how your rabbit will be able, in terms of respiration and in terms of excretion, feeds plays a very important role. Quality of the feeds that you give your rabbit will determine of how your rabbit will be able to excrete and also how your rabbit will be able to respire. And another aspect that you need to understand, which is important in feeds, is feeds plays a very important role also in the overall growth of your rabbit. Remember that you are targeting on growth, so feeds when you give it a quality feed, you will be able to maximize on the growth. So it's important for you to understand these factors when you are giving your rabbit feeds. You need to understand at which stage you need to give your rabbit different kind of feeds. Remember, you don't have just to give it a lot of pellets. We've experienced farmers who give them a lot of pellets and they end up experiencing bloating condition, where at the end of the day they end up losing a lot of young rabbits. So it's important for you to understand as a farmer different ways of which you can, or different quantities and different qualities of foods that you can feed your rabbit. So you can always contact us as General Farm. We advise you on that. Remember, training is a very important aspect in rabbit production, so you don't have to jump this kind of step as far as rabbit production is concerned. And we are open to any question. You can call us, you can WhatsApp us using that number. You can visit our page and Facebook page for you to learn more about rabbit farming. So thank you for your time, thank you for listening to us, and we are always pleasure to give you information about rabbit farming and other types of farming.